Between Family Guy and American Dad, there are 834 episodes. They were created by the same guy, made by many of the same people, and owned by the same production companies. So with that much shared DNA, some overlapping storylines are bound to happen. So today I'm breaking down every time these two shows tackled a similar concept and decide who did it better. So let's start the list with the episodes that centered around being the family's lightning rod for everyone's hate. And for American Dad, that's season 14's No Weddings and a Funeral, and Family Guy's Seahorse Seashell Party from season 10. So in AD, the Smiths are terrorizing poor Klaus by dangling him over the garbage disposal.
Sounds like everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, Klaus is in the disposal.
And sick of being mistreated by everyone, Klaus announces that he's leaving.
One day you'll all regret how you treated me!
He's just being dramatic. He'll be back.
We then cut to 15 years into the future, and in that time the Smiths have gone downhill. Stan and Francine are divorced, and the family barely speak anymore, but they're brought together by the news of Klaus's passing. So later on, Sister Madeline gathers the Smiths for a funeral and asks them to pay their respects to the dearly departed Klaus.
What do you want us to do about it, lady?
Give him a proper funeral! Say some nice things!
But even in death, Klaus still isn't safe from their bullying.
Check this out, guys. I always said Klaus was a wiener.
And this is when the nun reveals herself to be none other than Klaus. So he knocks everyone out and puts them into a small mechanical fish just so they could understand how he felt for all those years. And working together as a family, they try to escape the burning house. And the thing that finally brings them closer together and makes them work as a team is making fun of Klaus.
We should be kicking Klaus in the balls.
You can't kick Klaus in something he doesn't have!
Klaus is the glue that holds his family together.
After escaping the fire and returning to their bodies, the Smiths come back together as a family, and Klaus is once again the glue keeping them all together.
I'm the glue, baby!
Okay, so very good, but let's now look at how Family Guy did the same episode. Well, first off, funnily enough, Seahorse Seashell Party was part of the Night of the Hurricane event, where of course Family Guy, American Dad and the Cleveland Show all cross over. And so with the Griffins trapped inside of their house because of the storm, they partake in their favourite activity, which is dunking on Meg.
Bang, bang! Hey, me too! Bang!
Oh, no one wants to get finger banged by you, Meg.
Why don't you just go do that to yourself, Meg?
But for once, she's not having it and finally stands up to them.
I am sick of all you guys ganging up on me. You guys all think you're so much better than me.
What follows is Meg getting her sweet payback by insulting each of her family members, reminding them of all the dumb and cruel stuff they've done over the years.
Okay, I'm not the perfect mother. Who is?
Oh, not only are you not the perfect mother, you're the furthest thing from. You are completely selfish and totally irresponsible as a father.
Watching Meg absolutely roast her family after years of abuse is so cathartic. But without Meg being the family's punching bag, they all start to turn on each other.
He's a selfish, fat idiot.
You shut up, all of yous!
You know, that was pretty cool the way you finally stood up to everybody.
Do you think it's possible that this family can't survive without some sort of lightning rod to absorb all the dysfunction?
So Meg does something incredibly selfless and actually apologizes, blaming all of the family's troubles on her and brings the family back together, united by their bullying.
You're a bitch.
Yes. Yes, I am.
So, not only did both of these episodes focus on the punching bags of their respective shows, Meg and Klaus being the glue that keeps their families together because of their hate, but they're also bottle episodes, i.e. set in just one location. So, the question now is, who did it better? So, Meg being the family's lightning rod mostly just comes across as quite sad. Meg accepting constant abuse for the sake of keeping her family together just isn't very funny. It's depressing. And while I liked Meg finally giving her family a well-deserved verbal beatdown, it ultimately felt a little pointless. Whereas with Klaus, it works because it's inherently absurd. He's a German athlete trapped inside of a fish's body. The situation is so exaggerated and ridiculous as it is. Add on the fact that it takes place in the future, and that distance from reality makes the joke even funnier, instead of it feeling just cruel. And Family Guy's ending is supposed to feel sentimental with everyone hugging, but it ultimately falls flat because it's such a horrible message, whereas American Dad's ending is actually funny.
Disposal! 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 Disposal!
So American Dad definitely wins this round. By the way, as I go down through this list, feel free to drop your pick down in the comments. It will be really interesting to see who agrees with me and who doesn't. So moving on, and we come to 2 episodes built around the same premise, which is a character asking for a comedy roast, only to realise that they can't handle it. So it's American Dad's season 5 episode Great Space Roaster and Family Guy's Roasted Guy from season 13. So starting with American Dad, and it's coming up to Roger's birthday, and he asks the Smiths to plan a roast in his honour.
The best roasts are brutal and hilarious.
Oh, I think it'll be fun.
You can't participate, Klaus. I hate you.
The next day, Roger puts on his biggest shade, sits back, and lets his family go to town on him.
Roger is truly one of the most interesting people I know. He's also a pathetic drug addict.
You're the most disgusting, out-of-shape piece of I've ever met in my life.
After the roast, Roger takes the podium, removes his glasses, and reveals that he's been crying the entire time. So yeah, it turns out that Roger completely misunderstood what a roast actually is, because he's absolutely crushed. He disappears for days, and when he returns, Roger claims the experience had changed him, but the Smiths aren't convinced.
You are madder than we've ever seen you, and you do have a history of holding grudges.
And they're right to be suspicious, because almost immediately things start going wrong, because as soon as Roger leaves the room, there's a gas leak explosion. Then later on, Roger conveniently drops to the floor just as gunfire rips through the house. And this is right before he hurries them into their car.
Roger? Roger might be trying to kill us. And we have no brakes.
After surviving the deadly crash, the Smiths confront Roger back at the house.
You guys all got up and insulted me in the meanest way possible, and you were all laughing!
Yeah, that's a roast.
That's when the truth comes out, which is Roger fully intends to kill them all. With no other options, the family tranquilizes Roger and ships him off to a maximum security prison in Thailand. And of course, this being Roger, this lasts about 5 minutes.
Oh my god, breaking news from Asia!
Oh no.
Realising there's nowhere on Earth that they can hide, the Smiths flee to an international space station. And from here, the episode shifts onto a full-on alien parody, complete with Stan wearing Ripley's tiny little panties. And in space, no one can hear the Smiths scream as Roger hunts each of them down and ties them up. And to get his final revenge, he forces them to do another roast, but this time they have to roast each other.
Oh! Now, Stan, roast Haley.
But something unexpected happens. As the Smiths start insulting one another, instead of getting upset, they begin laughing. Turns out that Roger wasn't hurt by the jokes themselves, he was more hurt because he didn't feel like a part of the family. And once he feels genuinely included, Roger can finally laugh at himself. Now, let's talk about Roasted Guy. So Peter watches a celebrity comedy roast for the first time and immediately thinks that it looks like the most fun thing in the world. So he asks his buddies to organise one in his honour and give him a good ribbing.
But I gotta say, the worst part of being Peter's friend is knowing that eventually you're gonna have to be the fat ass's pallbearer. Lift with the legs, right fellas?
Peter's got a small penis, but hey, nothing grows in the shade.
Asked Peter what he got on his SATs. He said mayonnaise.
After getting absolutely roasted, the man of the hour is invited to respond. And just like with Roger, Peter is completely blindsided by what everyone really thinks of him. The next morning, a humiliated Peter announces that he's done with his mean friends and is going to find new ones. What follows is Peter desperately searching for replacement friends, and after a few failures, he's convinced he's going to end up alone until he strikes up a conversation with a group of women at a coffee shop. And at first, Peter loves hanging out with his new group of gal pals. He even introduces them to Lois, and although they're friendly to her face, as soon as her back is turned, they immediately start bitching about her. And wanting to fit in, Peter joins in and starts sharing embarrassing stories about her. Peter starts feeling guilty and confesses to Lois, but she isn't angry or surprised because, as she explains, she expects it from girls. She even tells him that they're most likely talking trash behind his back too. So Peter eavesdrops on their next conversation and Lois is proven right.
And what about those drugstore glasses?
These aren't drugstore glasses. They came from a Dr. Halloween costume.
Once again, feeling betrayed, Peter decides to get revenge. And instead of just roasting them right back, he makes a plan. On the day of one woman's daughter's wedding, Peter has the groom killed.
Oh no, it's not a perfect day.
And so Peter returns to his old friends and apologizes for taking the roast so personally.
Yeah, we ain't spoken a week.
I thought you were out of town.
People come, people go. I didn't give no mind.
So, who did it better? This one's actually tough because I enjoyed both episodes. The first third is almost identical, but after that, they go in very different directions. And talking about the roast specifically, I think Peter's is funnier overall. There are more jokes, and watching Peter get increasingly more offended is hilarious.
People think I'm fat?
That said though, Roger's reaction still wins out. The reveal of him removing his glasses to show his mascara running down made me laugh so damn hard. And while Peter just tries to replace his friends, Roger attempting to have his entire family murdered is such a wild overreaction that I have to give the edge to American Dad. So let's dive into the multiverse with American Dad's Season 18 episode Multiverse of American Dadness and Family Guy's Road to the Multiverse from Season 8. The episode opens with the Smiths being unusually wholesome, when suddenly Steve's head is popped like a water balloon by an evil Steve variant. And as the family mourns the loss of Steve, a Principal Lewis variant arrives, and it turns out that he's been hunting down the Steve responsible for killing his family.
Evil Steve is traveling from universe to universe, killing other Steves to claim their Steveness and become the ultimate Steve.
We then cut back to the regular universe, and yes, I paused it right here to read all of this, and I can't believe I somehow got roasted myself. So Shaggy is coming to town and Haley really wants to go and watch him. And luckily for her, her parents already bought tickets. But the downside is that she has to take her brother.
The concert hasn't even started and he's already ruining it for me.
So that's when he runs outside and bumps into his doppelganger. But before he can kill him, he's inadvertently saved by Principal Lewis. Once the other Lewis arrives to explain to a confused Steve about the multiverse, he realizes that he can use a portal device himself to find a universe where Haley actually wants to hang out with him. Haley shortly arrives and is given a time travel device of her own so she can chase after Steve and still make it to the Shaggy concert. And what follows is a tour of the multiverse, including an all-Barry one, as well as 2 universes where Steve is black.
Were you expecting a white Steve?
This feels like a trap.
There's even a universe where Stan's a flag and Steve is a bowl. And in one unforgettable universe, Steve has impregnated Snot.
In this universe, you get someone pregnant by gazing tenderly into their eyes.
And boy, did we gaze at each other.
And yes, I'm currently working on a video all about the bromance between these two. Well, less bromance and more just romance. There's a lot to talk about there. Anyway, as Haley travels through all of these universes, she starts to genuinely appreciate her little brother. Meanwhile, the alternate Haley from the opening, the one who lost her Steve, feels like she doesn't deserve him. So she jumps into the portal, leading to a fight between the 2 Haleys across the different realities. They eventually find Steve where he's already found a kinder version of his sister. They each make their case, with Steve ultimately choosing his original sister.
Besides, these other Haleys are kind of dorks, am I right?
When they return to their home universe, they find reality is on the brink of collapse. And to save the day, they have to rescue Shaggy, who's been beaten up by the Lewises. And this is when we get to see the characters in different art styles, like South Park and anime. They save Shaggy, the multiverse stabilizes, and Steve and Haley admit that they love each other. Now let's talk about Road to Multiverse. Stewie, being the genius baby that he is, informs Brian that he invented a multiverse device, and just like that, they begin a tour of parallel universes. And their first stop is a version of Quahog where Christianity never existed. It's basically Utopia. Flying cars, your poop instantly vanishes, and it even has a hot Meg.
And you know what's amazing? In this universe, she's still one of the ugly ones. If you saw Lois, you'd have to put your penis in a wheelchair.
And from there, they hop into the Flintstones universe.
That was wonderful rock sex we had last rock night.
Yes, I enjoyed rocking you up the rock last night.
Hey, Brian, want to get the rock out of here?
Rock yeah.
And when Stewie struggles to get them back home, they bounce from universe to universe. with one universe introducing them to their Japanese counterparts. And in another, everyone has two heads.
I want you to know I love you. I'm trying to get excited about it.
But in my personal favourite, they land in a Disney-style one where everyone is happy and sings all the time.
It's a wonderful day for pie.
And it was that wonderful Disney universe that almost convinced them to stay forever, until they realised that it has a massive problem.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This is a Disney universe.
Other stops include the Robot Chicken universe, a political cartoon world, and a universe where humans are pets and dogs run society, which Brian is way into.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Holly, let's go. This guy's a freak.
Eventually, Stewie figures everything out and the two make it back home.
Yeah, we're home.
So, which one did it better? Multiverse of American Dadness is an instant modern classic. I really like it, but let's be honest, it does pale in comparison to Road to the Multiverse, which is the highest rated Family Guy episode on IMDb with 9.1. And for good reason, it's fantastic, and it's one of my all-time favourite episodes, and it's endlessly fun and creative from start to finish. The American Dad universes mostly look the same and play things a bit safe, and except for that scene near the end, the art style is the same throughout. Whereas Road to the Multiverse is far more creative and goes all out with wildly different animation styles. And actually seeing a live action version of Stewie and Brian is really cute. Plus, the Disney universe alone is a standout. The animation is so gorgeous and the song is incredibly catchy. Like, whenever I see Pie, this song instantly gets stuck in my head. The episode is so much more ambitious in size and scope, and because of that, this round easily goes to Family Guy. But while the multiverse is a pretty broad concept now, the next comparison is way more specific, as both episodes involve turning the home into a public bar. And not only that, but one female character ends up singing. And for American Dad, that's Season 8's Love American Dad Style, and Family Guy's Season 1 episode, Mind Over Murder. So Roger converts his bar into a chic lounge, and to bring customers in, he needs a big attraction. And that's when he hears a very angelic voice and realises that it's coming from Haley.
You just got a job singing in my lounge.
Really?
Shut up.
Later that night, Haley rocks up with a glamorous new makeover, and I've always loved this look for her. I've always loved seeing cartoon characters get a new look for an episode, just because they're stuck in the same outfit most of the time. And for her, the red dress and the hair down is so lovely. Anywho, her incredible voice starts bringing in the customers to the bar and it's thriving. But then Roger finds himself falling for Haley, and as I discussed in my Roger's Love Life video, his crushes always turn into an unhealthy obsession. His feelings get so intense that he fires her because he can't stand being close to her. But that doesn't stop his feelings from growing, and he confesses his love for her. Haley tries to let him down gently, but as we all know, Roger doesn't take rejection too well.
All right, well, fantastic then.
Roger, what are you— No!
After almost killing her, Roger escalates things even further by kidnapping Haley, tying her up, and literally wears Jeff's skin in an attempt to make her love him.
Great, you hate it. Well, that's all right, I'm over you anyway.
Now, let's switch over to Family Guy. In Mind Over Murder, Peter is on house arrest after punching a woman, so naturally he decides to set up a bar in his basement. Lois is pissed at first, until Peter encourages her to become the bar's entertainment and to start singing. Lois quickly becomes a hit with the patrons, especially once her performances start getting a bit more risque and the clothes start coming off. Much like Haley, Lois feels rejuvenated by performing, but while just Roger falls in love with Haley, the entire bar starts lusting after Lois.
She's a smoking little pistol, isn't she?
Are you a woman?
No.
Thankfully, Peter doesn't wear anyone's skin to prove his love, but he does get jealous and tries to shut the whole thing down. Eventually, the episode ends with the bar catching fire, and just when it looks like everything's over, Stewie invents a time machine and resets everything to the beginning. So which one handled this idea better? I do genuinely love Haley singing and her iconic look in this episode, and Roger going to absolutely unhinged extremes to make Haley fall in love with him is hilarious. especially the ending where he's wearing Jeff's skin and a skinless Jeff just gives him a thumbs up.
Hey Jeff, good news, you're getting your skin back. Gross.
But I think Family Guy edges this one out. This is a season 1 classic, and this episode does a lot to develop Lois early on, making her more than just the tired housewife trope. It established that she had real musical talent, ambition, and even sex appeal, setting her apart from other Fox animated wives at the time, like Marge Simpson and Peggy Hill. So therefore, I'm giving this win to Family Guy. So for the next comparison, the topic is The New Stepdad, which comes in Season 8's American Dad episode American Stepdad and Season 5's Mother Tucker from Family Guy. In the American Dad episode, Stan's recently widowed mother Betty moves in. He kicks Roger out of his attic and forces him to live in the basement because his mum is taking his room. But Roger isn't going to give up his room that easily and starts dating Betty.
Me and Tom Yabo got married!
That's right, Stan. I'm your new stepdad.
As we all know, Roger is a manipulative sociopath, so naturally Stan's pissed off that his beloved mother is dating him.
Come on, champ, give it another try.
Shut up! You're not my dad!
Roger tries to bond with his new stepson, but Stan ain't having it. But Stan slowly starts coming around, especially when Roger starts teaching him all the things his father never taught him, like fixing up a car. Stan finally comes around and sees Roger as his daddy, just as Roger and Betty set off for Niagara Falls.
See ya, sport.
Bye, Dad! Have fun, Dad! See you when you get back, Dad!
But when Stan suddenly suspects that Roger is planning to kill his mother, he chases after them. But in a twist, it was Betty who was planning to off Roger instead to claim his life insurance. Stan manages to grab them just in time, but he only has the strength to save one of them. So Roger heroically sacrifices himself. Of course, Roger doesn't really die, but his stepdad persona does. But at least they finally see each other as family.
Do you think things between us will go back to the way they usually are next week?
I sure hope so.
So now moving on to Family Guy's Mother Tucker. Here, Peter's mum Thelma shows up and announces that she's leaving his father. Lois takes Thelma to a mixer to meet some single guys, and the one guy she definitely ain't hooking up with is Quagmire.
Who's Thelma?
This is Thelma.
Ew!
Instead, local reporter Tom Tucker catches her eye and they quickly hit it off. And at first, Peter is pissed off that his mother is doing the dirty with someone else. But when Tom starts trying to bond with him, Peter resists until Tom offers to get him a milkshake.
I want to get a milkshake too. Too bad, go get your own father.
Peter's dad was always strict and emotionally distant, so Peter absolutely loves the attention he's getting from Papa Tom. He fully reverts back to being a kid and becomes inseparable from his new stepdad.
Say hi to the nice lady, Peter. Oh, he's shy.
But Peter's happy little fantasy comes crashing down when Thelma suddenly breaks up with Tom. With Thelma gone, Papa Tom starts acting like a single father, while Peter becomes a spoiled, sulking brat.
I hate you! I hate you! I want my mommy! Well, I'm the best you've got!
While Peter is moping on the steps, Tom's actual son Jake points out that he never sees his dad anymore. And when Tom offers to play catch with Peter instead, he realises he can't take away someone else's dad. So, which one did it better? If you're going to do a stepdad storyline, Stan is kind of the perfect character given his extreme daddy issues. That said, I wish American Dad had spent more time on it because I really wanted to see more traditional father-son activities beyond just fixing up a car. Because that setup had a lot of untapped comedic potential. Family Guy, on the other hand, just has a lot more fun with the concept. Watching Peter regress into a needy little kid is hilarious, especially since he starts completely ignoring his own son in the process.
Hey Dad, do you want to play baseball? Oh my God, could you leave me alone? You are the neediest kid!
So for this one, the win has to go to Family Guy. Next up, we've got 2 episodes centered around running for mayor, American Dad's Season 13 episode, Railroaded, and Family Guy's Season 5 episode, It Takes a Village Idiot and I Married One. So, in American Dad, Stan becomes obsessed with the idea that Langley Falls needs a bullet train. So he takes his proposal straight to the mayor, who immediately laughs in his face. At first, Stan is humiliated, but once word gets out about the bullet train idea, people actually start to get behind it, and seeing an opportunity, Roger encourages Stan to run for mayor.
Ever done it with a mayor?
I have. 6 of them, actually. 7 if you count the guy in the Mayor McCheese outfit.
By the way, who here wants to see a video about Francine's love life? Let me see some raised hands in the comments below. With Roger acting as a campaign manager, they start running smear campaigns against their opponents, and during the debate, Roger begins asking questions while disguised as various personas. Instead of addressing real issues, Stan starts showboating, dodging questions, and playing to the crowd. The audience eats it up, right up until he drops a baby and his approval ratings tank.
That's when people thought you were going to catch the baby on the first bounce.
I guess the whole town is best friends with that baby.
Right when it looked like his campaign was dead, Stan brings in 10,000 migrant workers, and just like that, he wins the election. But almost immediately, Stan realizes that he's completely in over his head. So Stan delegates all responsibilities to Roger. Roger proceeds to spend the town's entire budget building the bullet train and then uses it to ship all of Stan's enemies off to a prison camp. And that's when Roger reveals his true plan, bringing in an Urban Outfitters to town. And when Stan finds out, he sends him to prison too. Eventually, Stan kinda resorts to apologizing to the town before taking out Roger's henchmen and using the train itself to blast a hole in the prison so that everyone could escape. In the end, he announces that he's stepping down as mayor and says that the town shares responsibility for electing him in the first place. So with the original mayor having died in the prison camp, Stan randomly selects Mo Garfield as the new mayor of Langley Falls.
The streets will run red with the blood of my enemies!
Now, let's switch over to Family Guy. In this episode, Lois runs for mayor not because of some obsession with trains, but because she's fed up with pollution, and she wants to put a stop to it. So she runs against Adam West. During the big debate, Lois tries to focus on real issues, while Adam West wins over the crowd by pandering with absolute nonsense.
Oh, I like him! He looks me in the eye!
So Lois takes a page out of his book and starts giving dumb answers that she knows will make the audience go wild.
Mrs. Griffin, what do you plan to do about crime in our city?
A lot.
Lois wins the election, and her first mayor goal is to clean up Lake Quahog. But when she proposes a modest tax increase to fund it, the crowd immediately turn on her. So like every single politician ever, she lies. She claims the taxes are necessary to stop terrorists from assassinating Jesus. The lake gets cleaned up, and Lois celebrates by dipping into the tax fund to buy herself a new purse. And things only get worse from here, because in exchange for a fur coat, Lois allows oil companies to start polluting the lake again. She shuts off the pipeline, realizes politics is corrupting her, and resigns, handing the mayor's office back to Adam West.
Don't we need to have a whole new election?
So, who did it better? Stan and Lois start in very different positions. Stan runs for mayor for one specific reason: he wants a bullet train, whereas Lois runs because she genuinely wants to fight against pollution and protect the environment. And where they overlap is how it ends. Both eventually realise they abused the system, didn't deserve the power that they were given, and choose to resign, which is commendable, except that they both leave absolute disasters in charge. Personally, I find Lois's journey a lot more compelling, because watching her go from an underdog with good intentions to a fully corrupt politician feels more layered. With Stan though, even after the bullet train is finished, he doesn't really seem to care all that much. There's just a lot more substance in the Family Guy episode overall. So next up, we have 2 episodes about female characters becoming a surrogate for a gay couple, and that's Season 3's Surrogate and Season 22's Fertilized Meg. So starting with American Dad, and this episode opens with Greg and Terry announcing that they plan to have a baby through surrogacy. Francine is so excited for her neighbours, while Stan is less than enthused.
Well, excuse me, but who are you to say whether they should have kids?
A concerned American, Francine.
Greg and Terry are struggling to find the right woman to carry their fertilized egg, and that's when Francine offers to do it herself. Knowing Stan will blow a fuse, Francine puts off telling him that she's pregnant, even when she's visibly showing he somehow doesn't put 2 and 2 together.
My God, you've let yourself go. You made your point, Francine. I love you for who you are.
When Stan finally learns the truth, he is furious. He refuses to be involved at all, convinced that this is another sign of society's moral collapse. But when Haley calls him out on it and tells him to start thinking about the baby's well-being, Stan has a change of heart. He commits to supporting Francine, going to pregnancy classes with her and helping to set up the nursery. When Francine gives birth to a baby girl, Stan immediately steals the baby.
You can't give someone else's baby away!
Nebraska begs to differ. Gay couples have no legal rights there.
He goes on the run and stumbles across what he believed to be a perfect, wholesome religious family. And when he discovers that the husband is actually a woman, it seems like Stan might finally be learning something, right up until he kidnaps their kids too. Eventually, Stan is forced to confront his own bigotry, and he comes to realize that he's completely in the wrong.
I was wrong. Raising kids doesn't take straight parents, it takes loving parents.
So now let's discuss Family Guy. So Meg is chatting to her only friend Bruce, who mentions that he and his husband would love to have a baby. And wanting to help them out, Meg offers to be their surrogate.
I'm having Bruce and Jeffrey's baby.
That's wonderful. What do you say we take this party to the top of the stairs?
So Meg is successfully fertilized, 9 months pass, and she gives birth to a baby girl. Meg instantly bonds with the baby and volunteers to look after her while Bruce and his husband finish setting up the nursery. But days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into more weeks, with Meg still refusing to hand the baby over. It turns out that Bruce absolutely wants the baby, but Meg just keeps putting it off because she can't bear to let her go. Eventually, Meg does the right thing and gives the baby back to her dad's.
You'll always be that slightly creepy teen who birthed our baby and then we gradually lost touch with.
So, who did it better? The American Dad episode is fundamentally about Stan's prejudice and his slow realization that he's wrong and that there's absolutely nothing wrong with a gay couple raising kids. Family Guy approaches the concept very differently. The focus isn't on the parents being gay at all, but more on Meg becoming emotionally attached to the baby and struggling with the reality of giving her up. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know I love a Meg-centric episode. She's easily one of the most underutilized characters in Family Guy, so I always appreciate when she gets a bit more development. And this episode does a really great job of showing Meg doing something genuinely kind and selfless for a friend. That said though, Surrogate is ultimately the stronger episode. It tackles homophobia head-on through Stan, who is a deeply conservative character, and uses the story to make a clear point. What matters is having loving parents, not straight ones. Social commentary is something that American Dad has always done particularly well, especially in its earlier seasons. In fact, the storyline itself was inspired by executive producer Kenny Schwartz, who had 2 children through IVF. He even helped the writers ensure that the episode portrayed the process as accurate as possible. So overall, the American Dad story is just much better in every way. So for the last comparison, we're looking at the Desert Island story, where the husbands are presumed dead and their wives move on, and that's season 4's Choosy Wives Choose Smith and season 4's The Perfect Castaway. When Stan gets his pilot license, Franny begs him not to fly, and this is because she was once engaged to a pilot who crashed his plane. He survived and came back for Francine, but by then she had already met Stan.
Why didn't you ever tell me?
Because I thought you'd overreact.
And overreact he does as Stan starts feeling like second best, so he tracks down her former fiancé, who turns out to be basically the perfect man.
I like to help people. It's kind of my thing. I specialize in sick kids and animals.
Stan tells Francine that he found her old flame, and instead of trusting her when she said that she never settled, he actively tries to set them back up. Of course, Francine chooses Stan, but Roger immediately gets into his head and tells him he can't trust her answer. If Stan really wants to know who she'll choose, he'll have to disappear for a while.
This island is a secret CIA hideout. I've hidden cameras everywhere in our house so we can watch Francine get the news that I've gone missing.
That is until a massive tidal wave hits and strands them for real. So now genuinely trapped on a tiny island with only Roger for company, the two survive on seagulls. 83 days pass and they nearly kill each other, and just as Stan is trying to drown Roger, they realise that Roger floats.
So you float, huh?
Yeah.
So they use him as a raft, and they're finally rescued by a passing ship. When Stan returns home, he discovers that Francine has moved on and chose her ex. But it turns out Francine figured out that Stan was faking the crash and only got together with Travis for the cameras in order to teach him a lesson. So now let's move on to Family Guy. Peter's fishing business is failing after all the fish dry up, but Seamus tells him about Pelican's Reef, where there's more fish than anyone could imagine.
Lots and lots of fish, I guess would be the main bullet point of this presentation.
Ignoring Seamus's warnings about how dangerous the trip is, Peter heads out with the guys, and they catch tons of fish, only to then get swallowed by a massive tidal wave. They survive thanks to Quagmire's blow-up doll raft, and while everyone is starving, Peter casually nibbles on Joe's leg.
You've been eating my legs? Yeah, see, now this is why I didn't say anything. I knew you were gonna get like this.
Eventually, they find an island while everyone back at home assumes that they're dead. And months pass, and to kill time, they would play Would You Rather, and when they got bored of that, they would then have an orgy. And of course, that's when the cruise ship passes by.
And if you look off the left side of the ship, you'll see a bunch of homosexuals.
The guys are rescued and Peter returns home only to find that Lois has remarried.
Honey, I'm home. Peter!
Yeah, it turns out that she married Brian so he could financially support the family. So apparently, Lois would rather marry an actual dog rather than get a job herself. Despite being married, Lois and Peter start an affair behind Brian's back, and when Brian finds out, instead of confronting her, he does the selfless thing and divorces her.
Maybe you should see if Peter will still take you back. I'm sorry, Lois.
I understand, Brian.
If only he had waited one more day.
I was gonna push those beds together and take you around the freaking world, Brian.
So, both episodes share the same core idea. The husband is stranded on an island for months, presumed dead, and returns home to find that his wife has moved on. And in both cases, the wives never truly stops loving them, and their new relationship is basically a sham. So, while I did enjoy the AD episode, I think it underutilises the island concept. Stan and Roger being stuck on a tiny island for weeks should have been way funnier. There's some good gags though with the seagulls, but I wish they just pushed the isolation and madness a bit harder. Family Guy, on the other hand, has a little more fun with the idea. There are more jokes from the awkward orgy to the endless Would You Rather game. My favourite joke is Peter casually eating Joe's leg, and even weeks later, Joe's stumps are still exposed with bones sticking out. It's so stupid, and I love the contrast that while Stan spends the entire island ordeal obsessing over Francine, Peter is just excited to get home so he could watch Captain Caveman again. So, the win goes to Family Guy. So there you have it, that's 3 wins for American Dad, and Family Guy has 5 wins. Do you agree with my choices? And did I miss any similar episodes? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.